I've had a lot of legends on this podcast. I thought it was time to circle back and highlight a legend in the making. Welcome to the Scandalous podcast. Shaolin, lead singer of Unity Texas, and a few other projects we'll get to. How are you doing?
I am great. I just got back from the gym, so I am feeling ecstatic.
Oh my gosh, I get the endorphins version of you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
I like that. I was stalking lovingly your Instagram and I saw a little video of you doing like push-ups on stage. And you're like, come out to the show, you're gonna watch me work out. I like that.
Yeah. I like to I like to really get people more like or give them more than just like this show. It's like we're just people who play music and stuff, but we also do other things that are like just goofy, like we're entertainers at the end of the day. So if I could do some push-ups and the whole crowd counts with me, then that's more entertainment than stepping on stage and looking like, whatever rock star, whatever they do. We throw the metal horns up and everyone's like, ah.
That's funny. I like that a lot. That is cool. That is a fun way to like get into the show and like come family like real quick if they watch you sweat, I bet.
I have like literally, I've had people in the pit start doing push-ups. So like for this next tour that we do, I'm really gonna be like, yo, if you guys don't mosh for this song, I'm gonna need everybody to get down and do 20 push-ups.
I've never heard that one before. I bet that's one way to get them. That's one way to make them work. I like that.
A lot of people, I've seen a lot of videos lately where people do kind of like just goofy things where it was like one time I saw the crawl pit or not, it wasn't a crawl pit, it was like a fetal position pit where everybody was like kicking each other and like curling up like shrimps. And I was like, that is not cool on my part, but push-ups are different, but like if it's just like a group of people just shrimping in the pit, I'm like, this is kind of weird because I know someone's gonna want to mosh and then they're gonna step in and then chaos just goes everywhere. But I like
Yeah,
to keep shows fun.
that's yeah, that's different. That reminds me, I thought you were going to talk about that the rowboat pit.
I
Have you
stay
seen that
far
one?
away from those.
Well, I will bring it up and I just don't really talk it really like left a sour taste in my mouth. Who is that band? Like I forgot about them because I don't like them anymore, but who does that? It's the Viking band. It is what's the Viking band? Oh, it's like oh, they opened up for Ghost. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, anyways, I'll think of it like as soon as we're done and I hit stop record, then I'll remember it. But I just thought it was like so weird. So they have like a Viking name. They wear Viking outfits. They bring Viking warriors to fight out on stage.
Yeah.
They have Viking backgrounds with their screens. They bring out like Viking totems and stuff like that. And then I got corrected when I said that they were like Viking metal by like one of my peers. They messaged and they're like, "Oh, by the way, they just like to be referred to as this, but no, they're actually not Viking metal. They're this." And I'm like, that feels like a bait and switch to me. Like just the fact that they actually like go get offended by it. I was like, not cool. Don't like it. Lost a fan. And like you can't do all these 80 things that say you're this and be like, oh no, but we're not this. I don't think so. I like it.
I see where you're coming from because I know like how like at the beginning of our band and stuff, people were like they didn't know what to label us as. They would just say new metal a bunch, and like we went with the new metal thing for a while, and then like I was like I want to brand our own thing. So it's like for Unity, back before we even got picked up by anybody, like I was like writing our music, and I would just call it like rock music, like ROC or hood grunge, which was just like that's what gave me more meaning to like making the music rather than just being like, oh, like when it was like 2014, I was like new core or stuff like that. I would just write down all these genre styles to like figure out how to brand ourselves to like the general public or whatever, rather than just being a metalcore band or being a hardcore band. I don't like the blanket terms, so I see where they're coming from, but like sometimes you gotta feed into those niches if like people are willing to like put on for you and like slap that. Like I think it was Korn who hated being called a new metal band, and they're just like, we're just metal or something like that. Like hands off. Like Korn can do whatever the fuck they want to do. I ain't gonna say shit about it. But I guess artists want to be taken more seriously, and honestly, it's not really that worth like going out of your way to be like, "Hey, man, we're not Viking metal" or whatever. It's just like, "Hey, man, just be glad that people are acknowledging your music and like are actually giving a fuck about what to even categorize it as because they care so much about it, rather than just being like, oh, well, I hate this because of this and that." Like we get the nitpickers who like just hate us because of how we look or whatever, but then when they hear how we sound or whatever, they're just like, "Yo, this is super sick." Like I see comments all the time, but it's just people just wanting to be comfortable with things, and unfortunately, the artist has to be okay with opening up to like fans wanting to give them something. Like there are bands who have members who got names from fans rather than just being like, I came out with this name and this is what I want you to call me. So it's like, it's a community thing. Some bands don't have that community value yet, but they'll learn. Sometimes they have to lose 10, 20, 100, 1,000 fans. But as long as they come out feeling comfortable with themselves, I think that's most important. But don't shoot your fans down if they want to make a little fun out of like, not make fun, but like, I guess like romanticize with your image and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like to add, I got flack for adding Viking metal text on top of the video. And I was like, I'm not taking it down. And
Wait,
like
you got flagged?
not flagged, flack
Oh,
from like
flag.
one of like my other female peers. She was like, oh, hey, by the way, they're not that. And I'm like, bullshit, they're not. Yes, they are.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh, but it's fine. Like, I don't have all the time in the world. I want to get to all the questions I have for you. So, on a side note, real quick, one of my favorite albums back there, Fit for an Autopsy. And what's the other flag behind you? And what other
so
flags do you have?
this is All Shall Perish over here.
Okay.
And then that's our EP from 2021, Hellway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fit for an Autopsy is right here. And then over on this wall, you can't see it, but I have a Currents, the Death We Seek flag. My Friends and I Am, their Eternal Steel. Another Fit for an Autopsy. Knock Loose is over here. I would point it, but like I don't.
Yeah, I got you. No worries. Yeah.
But yeah, I have like the OG Knock Loose, like Oldham County hardcore flag, Extortionist, Fit for an Autopsy. So yeah, I'm
Love
building
it.
up my flag collection.
Nice. I like it. Yeah, I haven't seen a good one in a while. So I was like, ooh, what's that? So straight out of the gate, did you dream of what you're doing now when you were younger?
Yeah, but obviously it takes time because like I have like Facebook posts that I made back in the day about the band where it was like I would post, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that Unity is either a household name or changes the game to where we like, do something that's much different from what we've been used to. Because before we even started the band, it was just everybody wanted to be slow down tempo and, or like this like progressive metalcore because like we came out of the gent era in like late 2012, 2013 and stuff. A lot of those bands were fizzling out, and it was like bands like My Ticket Home who came out with Strangers Only that really opened my mind up to the fact that like, oh yeah, this music is fun, it's cool, it's got a little metalcore influence, but it's mostly like punk, but you could still be metal with it and everything. So I was just kind of like, I want to just make something. I want to make a wave, like a wave of music. And that's why I call our music rock music because, like I am the only person who's like made this genre and stuff. Like not trying to be like, oh, I did this or did that, whatever. But it's like I took the risk that no one else wanted to take 10 years ago, you know? And I also did what everyone else wanted to do and they didn't know where to start. So throughout the years, like whatever I wanted to, or whatever I said at the very beginning of the band is happening, like it's impacting people. It's bringing in new kids. It's bringing in kids who look like me who want to feel like they can do this type of stuff. And it's cool. It's great. It's awesome. My only bad or the only thing that sucks about it for me is like bands who come out of nowhere who get the easy thing. They have something written for them or whatever, and then they take that route and they're just like, yeah, they blow up over us and everything. And it's just like, okay, cool. Well, try to write your own music and build it from the ground like everyone else did back in the day, and then see where that takes you because I've been writing everything in this band since the beginning. Like this is my brainchild. I sit here every day, with my guitar on my DAW. I'm coming up with ideas and stuff. I have hundreds of thousands of songs that I've like or demos that I've like written for Unity since we first started. It was just like an exercise for me, and it was like meditation more than me wanting to like be like the next big thing right in that moment. It was like I need to figure out what I want to do with this. I want to know where my footprint is going to go and like how it's going to be like taken by everybody. It's been taken super well, but I feel like I got lost in it. But like I have achieved a little bit of what I wanted to achieve back then. Let me just say that. Here we are
Mhm.
10, 11 years later after we started. We have our first headliner. I mean, it's whatever, shit happens. But I'm pretty content with things. I just want to be able to see that the people who actually give a fuck about the music and the state of music and everything will like back it rather than just backing some carbon copy band who didn't live that life, who didn't, tell, they don't have a truth to tell in their story. They don't have any kind of like passion or anything. When you see them on stage, they try to act like someone that they're not. They don't dress the music that they play, like stuff like that. We call those posers, but like whatever. Everyone just loves numbers nowadays. They don't give a fuck about the real shit. We've always been the second place band because we don't have the presentation that they want, to put out or whatever. People are like, I feel like they're ashamed of representing us as a band full of black and brown kids who came from literally like the streets, who picked up an instrument, started going to shows, started, moshing, meeting friends, opening up for these big bands, making friends with them, climbing the ladder, doing the things that we had to do for the past 10 years. It's like it's cool that we're at this point, but sometimes it's just hard not to feel jaded. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I understand that. And so many, you're not alone in that feeling, like feel that feeling. And so many people feel that feeling. And I hear them talk about it. So don't feel like weird about talking about it. Please talk about it. Cause a lot of people, like I always talk about Jamie Josta, like he talks about that, how he always felt like ripped off, because of Hatebreed's name and stuff like that. And like he's talked a lot about that. And people do talk about that. But anytime I've dropped Unity Texas a lot, and anytime I drop that name, it has been, oh my God, they're so good. Oh my God, I love that band. They're so real. I love them. So just anytime you say your band name, people go off and they really do. And that's really special. And I saw you guys for the first time, and that's what got me to go like, oh my God, what is this? I love this. This is great. I want more. I like. So I think you're doing an incredible job. I'm so excited for your first headliner. Celebrate yourself. And that also, someone who just like started therapy like a month ago, I'm like, that sounds peaceful. Like a way to figure your shit out, like for yourself, to like put yourself out of your misery a little bit. Like that feels peaceful as well, I think.
Yeah, I really do enjoy doing this. I always have, but it was when other people who didn't understand the vision that I wanted or that I've been putting out for so long didn't understand it and try to come in and like, act like it's not as important only because they didn't understand it. That's when it started to become more of a growing pain and, like the whole miscommunication, that's like a headache and everything. And I'm not gonna act like I was 10 toes for this band like ever since we first started. I think it was like 2018, like the summer of 2018 to the fall, I was going through some bad stuff. And I was essentially still like I wasn't like homeless, but I was living in my friend's garage and I was writing Mad Boy, our first EP. or our first mixtape, mixtape EP, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know. It's a body of work that I wrote in some of the hardest times of my life, and I know people say that shit all the time, but I'm like, that piece meant so much to me, and I think that once that got released, people got more hip on who we were, and it felt good. It kept going and stuff, and then over the years, it's like it feels good to know that more and more people are starting to care, but it also sucks to know that more and more bands are coming out and trying to do that, and they try to take the immediate A line, and they hit me up and they're like, "Hey, can we get you on a song? I really want to get you on a song. Like, we think that you would do so good on this." Or like people hit me up and be like, "Hey, can you rap on this?" Like it just feels like really like people aren't understanding the vision that like I'm like putting into stuff, which I know they are, but also at the same time, I don't like being used for just one characteristic that I have, considering this band is like it's like conglomerate amount of things that like I've grown up in, like skate culture, like metal, rock culture, hip hop culture, a little bit of b-boy here and there, a little bit of fashion if you like that stuff, it's just like it's like an eccentric thing for me. And I feel like I get lost when I talk about this band because this band is like staring at like a box full of wires and figuring out which one goes into where. But like I've wired this whole entire thing, and I just hate whenever people who don't understand it come in and then they try to put their hands in it instead of just being like, okay, so what's going on? Let me hear what you have, or let me hear your vision and what you want to do, this and that, and just be 10 toes for it. The industry has always kind of been weird to me about it, but I'm like learning to like weave a little to the side and just like let them do the whatever business things that they need to do. But it's like, let me stay with the creative. Let me be the creative flow, because like that's where it came from. That's why you express interest in me. That's why you think that we are something that stands out. It's because we did it ourselves and we didn't have anyone build it for us because no one else knows how to build this stuff, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That is one of my questions. I love that you are a million different wires, and I hear hardcore, I hear, what sorry.
there's so much to
I
this.
don't need to wait. Let me go to my question that I typed out perfectly. Let's do. I'm like, wait, okay, yes, I hear hardcore, new metal, rap, metal breakdowns with like Pantera riffs, which I fucking love. But is it really, it's actually, you said exactly what was a question of mine, is like how do you put all of that together? Is that really hard? Because how do you like mix all that together? And like, how do you guys know how to do that? I guess that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's I truly believe that it's a personality thing and it's a cultural thing more than anything, because I've grown up in various cultures, like I am a skater, like I do play metal and stuff. I do love hip hop. I love like old hip hop. I still fuck with new hip hop and everything. But the thing is, it's like figuring out how you can make it cohesive for yourself, and then if you make it cohesive for yourself, then everyone else will follow. Bless you.
Dang it. Sorry. Sorry, I tried to say that.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
That's
I'm so sorry. Anyways, yeah.
that's why I call the music rock music. Like my uncle, when I was a kid, he gave me a nickname, Shorty Rock. So like I just always just, stuck with that. And I never really came out as like Shorty Rock as an artist because like I don't know, I felt like if I did do that, I would have to be like making like some real hip hop stuff, So it was like, I'll go with the band stuff, and then I just call it rock music without the K, because if you put rock music with the K, people who don't look like me will be like, well, what do you know about rock music, or why do you think that you can just say that this is rock music? When I'm like, for me and my people, this is rock music, you know, but it's to each your own, like I say it's RLC, obviously, because I write everything, this is from my brain, this and that. It's good branding, and it gives it more personality than it ever could if I just said this was metal, you know. So
Yeah.
I just really value the individuality and stuff, and I think that's why my music sounds so much more different than other people. Like you have bands that come out who do what we do, but they do it more to the extreme because they want it to be to the extreme. But then when they perform it live, they can't perform it fully, you know? So you have to find a cohesiveness for yourself, like I said, to know where the grooves and everything work for you. Because if you overshoot, then you go on stage and you're trying to do this part where you're like da 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 da, and then like you get winded or whatever. It's like, oh, you've already lost someone who's like really, really, really in, you know? So
Yeah.
I think that people need to stick to their chops.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I liked that you said, I'm the entertainment. Let me entertain. I think there's a funny juxtapose of like how we pigeonhole people. And it's like, as a woman, you're like the whore or the Madonna. And it's hard for people to like figure out which one. As a man, like oftentimes you're like the villain or the superhero. So for you as an artist, like you come off as like crazy and like wild and in your
Hmm.
face, like in this way I fucking love. So you yourself, do you feel like you relate more to like the villain, like intense in that way, or do you superhero? What do you think?
So I don't like to look at myself as a villain. I just like to think that everyone else looks at me as a villain because they don't understand or they don't like the things that I say, only because this is real and cultural to me. Like this is how I actually talk, as opposed to saying something that's gonna make me feel like a hero to everyone, like I'm speaking for everyone. Like to be real, I genuinely just do not care, because at the end of the day, people can love you for something and then you do one thing and they can hate you. And, most of the time, hating someone gets the word out more. Unfortunately, people are always like, yo, that band's cool. I like that band. But if it's a band that does something, annoying or something like that, or like, say, I hate to say it like this, but like most bands with fucking a cancelable person or a canceled person usually gets the fucking bread and butter just because everyone's talking about them and they get more exposure. And then new people check them out and don't know that because they just like, saw something, this and that. And then like it just keeps going. So I don't like to think about stuff like that. I like to think of myself as like someone who is like trying. It's easy to just be the villain and be the asshole and this and that. We have too many of those. I'm very humane, like I'm like surface level with these kids and stuff. Like I'm like talking to them. I'm going live on Instagram and talking to them in my chats. I'm on Discord and like group, you know, video chats and stuff with them. We're all talking and stuff. And I'm just talking to them as like, they're like my friends and stuff. But I don't want to be like a hero. I just want to be someone who people can be like, that's a real motherfucker. Because like if I looked at myself half of my lifetime ago, as I am or whatever, I'd be like, yo, that person's cool as fuck. I would love to be friends with them or something like that. And then you meet me and I'm just like, yo, what's up? Like blah 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 blah, this and that. Like I want to give that appeal. The hero villain shit, I feel like is not for people like me. Because people like me, when I go out into public by society and nature, I'm automatically the villain, no matter what I do, just because of the color of my skin. So I have to do my best to stray away from what people are automatically going to think. And if I don't open my mouth and you see me and you feel some type of way, then that's on you. That's literally your brain telling you things, which is kind of fucked up. But, like it's different around here, especially in my city, like we've all grown up around this shit, this is culture, like I said. So at the end of the day, I just want to be myself. A label is so just labels are what fucks a lot of people up because they lose their individuality in it.
Yeah, I love that. Well said. That was really beautiful. Thank you for expressing all of that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the song Plain Favorites opens with Stop Playing Favorites, motherfucker. Is that you kicking down the door and claiming your place in the music industry?
Yeah, unfortunately, and the crazy thing is like I wrote this song idea 9 years ago. And it was like I originally, I mean, like this is way out the window, but I was originally like, it was like when we first met Knock Loose and like, they stayed at my house back in like 2014, 2015. I remember talking to them about like just doing some shit, and I really wanted to get Brian on that song a while back and stuff. And they just, immediately blew up the next year and then just kept going. So I was like, all right, that might be out of the question. But I did try to recommend that as a guest spot on the song to my label people, and they just kind of like looked past it. And I was like, you guys are making this much easier for me to put this song out, because I want to be able to make art with my friends, but I get it. If they weren't into it, like if they got asked and they passed on it, I'm like, that's one thing, but like, why pass up on it for them? Because you don't see the growth in it, or you don't see the positive things. You think I'm trying to get up on their success and stuff. It's like, bro, I wanted this before they were even signed. I wanted this before we both were even signed. This is just a long time thing for me. So it's like when I dropped the song, it just hits so much more for me. And it made me feel like that was more cathartic than anything. And it's like throughout the song, if you listen to a lot of stuff that I say, like, I'm walking on glass and stuff like that, that's how it feels. It's like, no matter where I go, it's like I'm gonna end up taking some sort of hit, or like, losing a part of like the initial value somehow, just because people just don't value it as like, what it actually is. I mean, like, I could be losing myself in this and everything, but Playing Favorites was like one of those songs where it was like, I've had it. I've fucking had it. And it's done well. I'm glad that people like it. I'm glad that it's something that stands out for everyone and stuff. But truly, I wish that people would understand that that shit doesn't go unnoticed. People can see how certain people get treated, and people can see how, people like us get held back, and then other people just kind of get pushed forward. And it's like, oh, okay, well, not sure if they're working harder than us, but we work pretty fucking hard over here. And I don't like coming in second place. Unfortunately, that's my whole life. Playing Favorites was like the one time in my life ever where I was like, I'm not coming in second place. This is where I fucking actually talk my shit. This is where I kick the door down. This is where I say fuck you. And, like, it's not just to the people around me, it's just to everyone in general. It's just like people got to stop acting like UnityTX hasn't done anything prominent in this scene, in this industry. They have to act like this band hasn't had any impact or anything like that. They have to act like this band, like people act like we just started like as of the past few years instead of being around for like the past like decade and stuff. So it's just it sucks. I'm fucking 33. Like I don't like coming in second place, especially at this fucking late. So it's like at this point, everything that we're probably going to keep releasing is just going to be more and more aggressive. The more I feel like we're being shunned out just because we're not the it factor of a band who's copying off of another band that isn't that big yet.
Yeah, I get it. Interesting to hear you talk about this because that wasn't my impression. Like you wouldn't know any of this when you watch you play. So, you know what I mean? I mean, you're just like that fucking good. So, just as someone who like isn't impressed easily, I saw you guys play and loved you automatically and have been watching you and stalking you as an artist and like watching what you do because of who you are. And I was immediately like taken in, and I appreciate what you do as an artist so much, and I resonate with it a lot, and I fucking love going to Unity Texas show. So
Yeah.
thank you for staying on it. I really love it. And not like you guys aren't already on all the playlists with this one and trending where that counts. Roc Shit is a huge anthem. Is that the song you would want people to listen to if they are listening to your band for the first time?
Um, yeah, I would like people to listen to Rock Shit if they are open-minded to the idea of hip hop and metal being actually branded together. If you're a fan of just straight metal and like, having like, that head banging sensation nonstop, then listen to Playing Favorites. You know, if you want to get an idea of a band who is heavy but still has alternative yet like very hip hop rooted stuff, listen to Burnout. Like that's try what I tried to do with this album. And Playing Favorites was originally on Ferality. We just took it off because like we were just gonna re-release it as a single later, because if the album, was doing well and stuff, we didn't want to give like everything right away.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
I think the Rock Shit works.
I love that song. It's like it's everything I love about metal. It really is. I love it so much. Well, and you didn't mention, I was surprised you didn't, World of Malice. To me, that one's like super Pantera-y. And
Yeah,
I like that. I just you guys do such a good job of, it's just like a beautiful homage of like music I love and music I grew up on. And there's just it's like there's iconic, beautiful Pantera-y, metal-y riffs that I'm really passionate about that your band does really, really well. Is
yeah.
that something you really like as well that you guys do?
Yeah, I try to make sure that I incorporate all of like the old music that I listen to into our stuff. Like, people probably wouldn't notice it, but like I'm heavily influenced by Linkin Park, you know? And Mike Shinoda was like one of my favorite lyricists growing up. Like he just made everything make sense for me to be able to like rap on. The same with Sonny Sandoval from POD, you know? So it's like I do I do like the fact that like people are like getting into our stuff. I feel like I just lost my question because I was thinking about
No, you
something.
didn't at all. And actually, like I was listening to your stuff earlier and I totally heard Linkin Park too, by the way. I didn't think to
Yeah.
write it down, but like, yeah, like you and I are
It
like the same age. So like we both have that same love for like Linkin Park. So that must feel like really cool to see that, love that, and be able to pull that off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This band is one thing that's given me the most hope in life I've ever had, because, before it was like trying to work a fucking shitty day job or like a 9 to 5. I worked a desk job at some point, just doing call center shit and stuff, and it just felt so empty and stuff like that. And then once I started picking up the music, I was broke for a minute. I still am, but like I make a little bit off of like selling merch and stuff. I really had to learn how to merchandise ourselves as a band so we can like keep, making money and stuff. But this band is just like the best cathartic thing for me because it makes me feel like I have a purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't think people, I don't think people get that, because a lot of other people that they see who do this stuff are just like kids who just, or not kids, just guys who just wanted to do something to look cool. Like, we're doing our thing. We're not going out and buying like expensive like chains and shit like that to like look like we're like the hardest fucking shit. We're just like, yo, we just slap this shit on, go out and play hard, and then meet our fans and friends, and maybe smoke a blunt with somebody, and it's just like cool. It's all love. So
Yeah.
I definitely am just happy to be here, if I think that wraps up that question.
It does. And it's funny at the beginning of when you started talking, you said like one thing. And then to me, I was like, one thing. I don't know why.
Trust
Made
me,
me laugh. It was like, oh, is he go there? Huh?
I, you have no idea. I was telling people the other day about how deep I was into Linkin Park. Like it was like, I want to say it's 2001, 2002, after Hybrid Theory had dropped. And I was just like, it was when the internet was kind of just starting to, grow and stuff. And I found a bunch of stuff. Like there was a One Step Closer Simpsons edit where it was like, it was Linkin Park One Step Closer playing, but they would put Simpsons voice clips in it. And then there was another one that was it was crawling, but it was like a 9/11 dispatch, like it would have like 9/11 stuff in it. It was like the symphonic stuff. And I think they actually did that with the crawling version with Aaron Lewis on it, which is fucking beautiful, by the way. I love that song. But yeah, I've been so deep in like that whole stuff. Like I love bands before they blow up because they do the most like the coolest shit, and then like their fans are like, oh, they're not big, so like we're gonna do cool shit for them too. So it's like fan club stuff is super sick. Sorry, shout out to the Linkin Park Simpsons mashup. That was sick.
I love that. We're all like running to Google right now, running to YouTube. Like, definitely have to find that. So I have two questions left. I know you have to run. So you already
I
talked
got
about.
I
Oh,
got
you
like
have.
12 minutes.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
was like, we've got to get this guy out of here. I know how to do it. It's like I
Nah,
can
nah,
do
I
it.
got you.
Okay, cool. Well, so currently for you right now, what is, and you touched on collabs a little bit. I wanted to ask, what's like one collab you would love to do with Unity that makes sense for you guys that like fits in with the music that you guys do that makes sense? And then like you personally is like a person in music you love, and we don't all listen to metal and hip hop and rap and everything all the time. Sometimes you like pop or sometimes you like this. What's like one collab you would like, and then maybe one for yourself that you think would be fun, that you're like, this one would be just for me, and God, I would love to do a collab with that person.
All right, so I have a few. So as far as like collab as like producing and like songwriting stuff like that, I would love to collab with Dr. Dre and Trent Reznor. If I could collab with them together, that'd be fucking insane. But those two, obviously, like it'd be cool to have like Mike Shinoda on the song, but that I don't bank on that. Them dudes out there. But I genuinely love I genuinely love these three artists. So I love Ellie Goulding, I love Halsey, and Rico Nasty. So it like if I were to do a song with Ellie Goulding or Halsey, I would for sure just like do like some sort of like pop song, but like still keep it heavy. But if I do Rico Nasty, like, oh, we're going full distorted industrial, like just crazy, just yeah, just putting the speaker up to the mic or whatever and just but there's that. And maybe my personal collab would have been Halsey and Ellie Goulding, but like I have so many more artists that I do love. I've been listening to this one artist lately. He goes by Two Hollis. He's like a young cat, and he does like dance music, but he has like a lot of distorted, really cool, like kind of like rageous kind of thing going on. It's like EDM, but it's like also like kind of hip hop in a way. I really like it, but he's been doing stuff, and like I would love to have him on like a Unity dance song, just because his vibe is cool. He doesn't like give off like the whiny type shit. He's just like very like monotone. He's like he's very um into himself to where it's just like this guy is like a god of his own. So I'm like, yo, I love stuff like that when people have like their own like god complex, not in a way to where it's like derogatory, but it's just like this guy is making sure that people know that he knows that he's the shit. So stuff like that is just really cool. I don't really have anyone in the metal world that I would love to collab with besides, I mean, Phil Bozeman's been very nice to me. I would love to have Phil Bozeman on a Unity song. That that may be possible one day. He seems to be very stoked on us, so
Cool.
uh,
That's awesome.
and then other than that, like I feel like everyone who I used to want on the song, I just kind of passed that idea. Like, there's not really anyone that's hitting. Like people would be like, "Oh, you should do a song with Body Count," and I'll be like, "Brother, we were in the studio with Body Count whenever we were making Mad Boy in 2019, and like, like I know they were in the studio working on their own stuff, but like it didn't really feel like there was any kind of like chemistry there." And I was just like, once I like kind of get in a room with someone and it doesn't feel like that, and then I just kind of let go of the idea. If it comes back, it comes back. But like I'm not really too into it. Like I like stuff outside of metal being on our songs. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cool.
I'm different.
Well, it's so funny. Halsey is one of my favorite artists of all time for
Oh
like
wow.
years. I just like listen to her like there's a couple albums I just listened to over and over and over and over and over and over and over
It's
and over and over. Like I'm so madly in love with Halsey and I talk about her all the time, like on the
yes.
podcast and to people like just in everyday life, like in metal. I'm always like, I think I told like Gary Holt from Slayer. He yeah. I'm not I'm not trying to get views. I just assumed. So um I made the joke when I had Gary Holt from Slayer on that I was like, I know you want to kill the Kardashians, but don't we have a Taylor Swift problem? And he was like, no, I like Taylor Swift. Like, I respect her. And like, I was like, well, like, because me as a grown woman, like my friends and I, we just really don't connect with that music. We just don't. And I just assumed it would be a very like clear cut and paste thing. And no, he actually really liked her a lot. And I was like, oh, well, like, respect your opinion, but I have to go with like an artist that has like depth that I can see and feel and put my hands on and like rub
Yes.
around and like that to me that is depth. So, so I do
Yeah.
talk about her all the time. So I love that you said those Ellie Goulding and Halsey. That makes me happy. I love it.
I would I would take a kick to the chest for Halsey.
Me too. Sure. Kick my boobs. I don't care. Why do
Oh
I
no.
care? Go for it.
No. See, I would jump in
Kick
front
to
of
the
you
tits. There
then.
you go. There,
I
and
would
then,
I would
yeah.
I'm taking a
Uh,
kick for both of y'all. Let me just say that now.
okay. Thank you. He's taking the kick in the tits for me. I super appreciate that. What a
Just
guy.
left the
Love it.
gym. Look at these pecs.
That's great. I love it. So, last question. What is the best thing about being a lead singer?
To be real with you, I don't think there
Well,
is
honestly,
anything.
I bet there, oh, yes, there is, but I bet there's like a funny version of this question than like maybe a serious one.
All right,
But I'll
so
shut up. I'll let you talk. Sorry.
my flaw about being a lead singer is I write the music and instrumentals in my band. I don't have any guitar endorsements. I don't even have a mic endorsement. I don't have any endorsements. People just look at me and be like, "Oh, this guy just has a mic and yeah, that's it, you know." And then, I'll reach out to like companies or whatever, trying to get work and stuff, or not work, but like, get like a hookup on like gear stuff. And like, I just get ignored. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go back to posting snippets of whatever song I'm producing and stuff. I've made more friends with producers than anybody else really because it's just like producers are like, yo, like this is sick. And I get a lot of help from them. But also, to the other part, what's cool about being a lead singer is I sell our merch. So I will be at the table and I do that to make sure that we make the most money we can that night. I don't give a fuck how tired I am. I'm here to make face with these kids and these adults, shake hands, take pictures and stuff, let them know that like, like I'm not some cock star or whatever, I'm here to show people that like being a lead singer isn't just being a fucking rock star doing drugs and having 17,000 groupies. To be real with you, the girl stuff, I've stepped back from that shit. I'm like, it was like cool when I started to get a little attention, and then after a while I was like, I don't like the attention that I get because it's like people feel like you owe them something. People always want to act like, like, oh, hey, can you blah, 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 or like, why are you not, or anything like this, instead of like, how are you, or how are things going, or do you need anything, or anything like that. Like, that's just one thing that sucks. But I don't know. I think after a while, when I was doing the band stuff, I kind of fell out of love with the whole lead singer thing because it just felt like I was an object rather than like a person who was like, like I am the creator of like all of this stuff that everyone sees and everything. So it's like, I don't know. I just wanted to be respected more like that. And you can't ask for that, you know, like people don't look people don't look in depth, especially to like people like me and what I do and stuff, and like be like, oh, okay, he's much more than this. They just see what they see in that moment, and then they just, you know, just make their ideas off of that. And then I'm just, like I said, an object to people. Being objectified sucks, but also I shouldn't have to tell you that. I feel like you could understand that too. We
Yeah,
all
of
get
course.
objectified in the music industry,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. It's I understand what you mean. I was talking to like one of my guy friends. I saw like one of your lives, and I saw his uh banner in the background of like one of your Instagram lives like a few days ago. And I told him, like, I was like, hey, Unity, whatever, they have your banner. But he specifically really struggles with being a lead singer, and he feels like his life isn't his, it's for everyone else.
If you're talking
And
about the iconic singer, yeah, okay. I got kicked off of my Instagram live for that photo
which
or
one? What are you talking about?
that that
I'm not talking about who you think I'm talking about.
okay.
No one knows what he really thinks except for me. Like no one really like knows what's in his head. But he talks about that plight a lot of, him, exactly what you talked about. So I understand what you're saying. I
Yeah,
get it.
it sucks. I don't like to like feel negative about things and stuff, but it's like, you know,
Mhm.
like I've just grown up and like learned to go with whatever's happening and stuff. Unfortunately, I read this tweet by, please don't hate me for this, by P. Diddy that said, nobody cares, work harder. And
Mhm.
that's just the mindset that I've had, you know, like you can't just be like, guys, I don't like how blah, blah, blah. Like I tried that one time and they straight up just did not give a fuck. So since then, I was like, it's life or death, you know, like
Mhm.
put in or pull out, you know? And
Mhm.
unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Gotta love it. Showbiz, baby.
Yeah.